All right, so on your screen here is game two. In this game, we had Keith, you're looking at right here, is Carthage. Alan, again, makes an appearance as China in the green. I am Indonesia, Dimitri, in the light blue. And Tyler was here for most of the game as the dark green Celts. And wow, what a game. That is all. I mean, you really had to have been there to experience the magic that was game two. I mean, I mean, Keith, Alan, and Tyler were all incredible. I wish I could do this every single weekend with them, and even more people, quite honestly. But all good things must come to an end, unfortunately. And this game was uh, nothing short of a miracle for me to be a participant in. How exciting! I didn't win, but nevertheless, I still have these positive things to say about it. So the conclusion was that Keith won via a diplomatic victory after I couldn't take out Gades here, or Goddess, however you want to pronounce that, these ancient Carthaginian cities. I'll be darned if I know how to pronounce them. And let's back up a little bit. The only reason he won a diplomatic victory is because your boy tried to go for a cultural victory, and something that Civilization 5 fails at in between the single player and the multiplayer is that in the multiplayer, the humans are smart. Like, they know they're going to lose. So, like, the AI would somehow sometimes just let you win a culture victory. And that's the only way how you can, quite honestly. Um, as far as I know, anyway. If anybody knows of any other ways, then I'm all ears. But once Keith noticed that, hey, Dimitri's influential with like all but one civilization, and that's me. That was pretty much the end of it for me because I got to like 56% influential with him, almost familiar in the game. So you need 100 to actually become influential, and I believe I was like 60 turns away from becoming so at like turn 370 or something. So I don't know if the game still had 60 turns in it, quite honestly. I was about to send my great musicians over there to culture bomb him a little bit, and hopefully that would have done him in. So in reality, I think if he just let me continue trading with him, having open borders with him, the time to win was much less than 60 turns, because as you can see on the screen, I'm at 247 tourism right now, and the way great musicians work is they multiply that tourism output at that moment times 10. So that would have been another plus 2,500 tourism almost. And I think I had like three great musicians sailing over to him from this city to ideally right there. But, you know, Keith, also the game kind of sucks in that great musicians need open borders. They're not like great prophets where you can just waltz in and do whatever you need to do over there. So that was pretty much the end of that. So I was desperate, as you can probably imagine. I was thinking, oh man, this is gonna be great. I'm gonna win a nail biting game, but nope. Uh, Keith, to his massive benefits, noticed immediately that you should just stop giving your buddies open borders to abolish the 40% modifier from that. And then my influence immediately went to like 300 turns. I'll be influential or something completely meaningless. So what I tried to do was build up an armada from my cities. I was producing, I believe, a battleship once every 2 turns, and they were sailing across. Sometimes, oh, here's my capital, Jakarta, and it had annoyingly had to go all the way around here and all the way around here, but from here it was much faster. So a battleship every 2 turns was making it all the way to the Bay of Gades, Gadus, and I thought, I still had hope because I had like 6 battleships. They're all pretty well promoted. I think I even had a great admiral, if I recall correctly. You're gonna have to excuse me if I don't. This was like back in February or something, 4 months ago now. But I was still hopeful. But so two things sapped my hope. One of them was that, as you can see, Keith took the freedom ideology, and with that, he took, I have to believe, the tenet which grants your cities 33% more defensibility or combat strength, something like that. And as you can see, these cities are almost unassailable just by themselves. On top of the second fact that thing that really killed my hope was that Keith was so technologically ahead that he was over there with nuclear missiles. And the thing is that when you have a navy, I didn't think of that. Like, you don't care about nuking just the water out here because you don't care. The water does not get irradiated in this game. It doesn't count as your own territory. So he just drops a nuclear missile here. My entire armada dies in one turn. I was literally like shocked the turn after to see that because we're playing hybrid over here. I don't really. Maybe in the future I'll try simultaneous turns where we're all just fast clicking on the screen, but I prefer hybrid as it is right now. Ask me again later how I feel, but nevertheless, that one nuclear missile, I don't know where he has uranium. I haven't discovered that tech yet. As you can see, I'm on ballistics here. That one nuclear missile took out the entire armada except this one submarine because he can't see it. Um, well, not the entire armada, I should say. He claimed to have taken out 5 out of 6 or 6 out of 7 or however many I had. And then he just killed the remainder with the bomber. So, wow. Wow. At that moment, I realized, his position was completely unassailable. And wow, okay, I pretty much conceded right then and there. Um, Despite what the score says, I mean, Keith is way in the lead. In terms of tech, I believe the demographics showed him at 90%, and I was at what was I at? Like, he was 17 or 16 techs ahead of me, so I believe I was at 74 or something. Um, so that was pretty much the end of the game right there. I'd like to add the other players' contributions. Alan, I'm surprised. Alan, my buddy China here as Wu Zetian, uh, didn't do better than he did because his original cities are the ones my mouse is hovering over here. So here's Beijing, right above the hand. Here's his second city, and I believe third city, and then I believe fourth and fifth. Yes, and he eventually went to war with the AI. Here was Babylon, and here was Songhai. He was partitioned between Alan and Keith. Kind of a weird thing happened. The I guess, noticed Alan had a small army, and he got bold and decided to take him on, and that was the end of Babylon. Quite honestly, I could have taken out Babylon myself. I mean, I'm right over here. I could have just built a road between the mountain and whatnot. Um, but nevertheless, Alan, I thought, was easily going to win the game. Something else I want to point out is that Keith and Alan in particular, was making like 400 gold per turn at the end of the game. That is not hyperbole. I said that correctly. 400 gold per turn. So I guess he didn't have an army, or by the time he did, it must have gotten down to like 350 gold per turn. And Keith all game was making like 300 gold per turn. I was absolutely shocked because of this game. I was struggling to make any money. I don't know what the devil my problem was, because my original cities are 1, 2, 3, and 4 here, and I don't know what it is about these cities, but they just could not make any freaking money. Like, I was struggling until like the modern era to make 100 gold per turn. It felt like forever. I was making like between 0 and 30 gold per turn. I don't know what my problem was. I don't know what these guys were doing correctly that I wasn't. I mean, I'd love for them to chip in and show me what they were doing right, but nevertheless, that really screwed me too. Because I believe they were going for diplomatic victories at first, and then after that, it looked like Keith was going for scientific because he adopted rationalism and built the porcelain tower and whatnot, and was making research agreements with us, which I didn't think that much of until he started really running away with it. But nevertheless, Alan had a great game. I don't want to undermine Alan here. He had all these amazing cities. I did eventually become influential with him, which caused his happiness to tank to like either near 0 or below 0 a little bit, and that might have slowed him down, unfortunately, which was not my intent because I didn't think I'd need him for the war with Keith, but he unfortunately did not help me with my war with Keith. I mean, looking at this map right here, we got a great view of Xi'an to Carthage. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tiles of travel from Xi'an to Carthage. I mean, you can put bombers in there, quite frankly, and just bomb Carthage if you can, even though that city defense strength is quite the bloody number. Um, Speak of the devil, I don't even know what tech Alan was on. He might have been at about my level, so I think he had. No, he must have had great war bombers, but not quite World War II bombers. Yeah, I don't blame him then. I would have thought he had tanks, though. Nevertheless, Alan, I really thought was in a much better position to win the game via diplomatic victory if Keith wasn't going to get the scientific victory first. As you can see, we're already doing the world leader vote. We're just 8 turns away here. I don't think anybody had enough for the first iteration of the United Nations world leader vote. But nevertheless, Alan did a great job the whole game. I'm really proud of him. And the final person in our party here was Tyler, who was the Celts. So something you're going to notice in striking similarity to game one, is that we are weirdly in the same shape as we were in the first game. This kind of blew my mind when we realized it in real time, because as you'll remember, Persia, I'm up here in the middle, and down to my southeast is Tyler again, and down to my southwest is Alan again. So what the heck's going on, right? What are the odds of this? So this time, fortunately, we're playing on a standard size map. It doesn't look that way because here was Ethiopia. This is their capital. This is their second city, and I took out their third city down here. This was also weird. Look at this. I mean, what is this landmass here? This is like a bunch of desert over here. I don't know what you're supposed to do with this. I mean, it's not like I, as Indonesia, could settle there. I had to settle on 1, 2. Excuse me, that's the next game. I had to settle on islands 1, 2, and 3 here. So, I mean, Indonesia's ability. Let me talk about that for a minute. So their ability is like your first 3 cities on distinct continents grant you a unique luxury resource, which, okay, so they cost no unhappiness to found. Okay, that's kind of nice. I mean, these cities did grow to pretty nice populations in quick time. I was a little surprised by that. Their production was kind of lacking. You have to build a lighthouse in these for these to be competitive at all. But it was an okay. I never noticed my 3 new cities because they came way late in the game. I mean, this is turn 387. We're already in the. I'm already in the. This is what the modern era. Yeah, they just didn't make a difference because you would discover astronomy, and only then can you even like venture out here into these waters. So that really let me down on Pangaea as we're playing here, as you can see. Pangaea just is not the map type for Indonesia, as I learned. And Tyler, going back to him, he did a great job also. His capital is right here. As you'll notice, there's a mountain range defending Alan completely from me and these city-states. Very, very good defensive map in Alan's favor here. And Tyler's too. There's actually a mountain range here. There's only like 1, 2 tiles you can pass through if I ever wanted to go to his capital, but it was him who was more on the warpath than me this game. I didn't conquer anybody until I realized, oh crap, Keith's not giving me open borders. I gotta conquer Ethiopia here, because they had the most culture, I believe, summated to that point. So that was the only way I was going to get a culture victory, is taking Ethiopia out to hopefully make me stronger versus Keith. But alas, that did not come to be. But Tyler decided to take out this city-state here, which is not a bad idea. Yeah, these 1, 2, 3, I believe, were his original cities. No, 1, 2, 3. Those are his originals, and then he conquered these 2 from Polynesia, which also not a very good civilization. I learned this game. But by that point, he could not continue with us due to scheduling difficulties, so it's probably why Polynesia remained on the map. Now, if Tyler was with us, this would have been an even more interesting game. Why do I say that? Look at the map. So I'm navally invading this bay here of Gadis here. So here's Keith's capital, Keith's second city, and he's got a third city down here, as you can see, Utica. What Tyler could have done is he could have realized, oh, Keith's about to win the game. He's at 90% tech. He's going to build those spaceship parts or whatnot. We've got to gang up on him right about now. And he would have had, let's see, 1, 2, 3 coastal cities plus Polynesia's 1, 2, 3 for a total of 6. That would have made for a very large navy. Tyler was at war with Polynesia back in the medieval era or Renaissance era or something, so he would have calmed these cities down by this point in the game, I have to believe. And he would have had a pretty good beeline to make for Carthage's open waters here, because there's this weird island here. Yeah, let's take a look at this. This is massive open water here. Let's see, this Carthage from battleships is assaultable from 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 tiles here, as well as 1, 2, 3 if you wanted to get in there. So that's a total of 7 right then and there. That could do a number. That could do a number. I was thinking he could take out either Carthage first or Hippo Regius first, either or. That would have certainly helped me take out Gaddis, because I would have thought he didn't have the resources to take out both of us at once, given also Alan's land invasion, which I thought was coming, but alas, it didn't. But I thought that would have really helped us take out the castle on the freaking mountaintop that was Keith by the end of the game. A completely unassailable position. I've got to give credit where it's due once again. But Tyler also did very well this second game of his. I'm really proud of him too. I wish he would keep playing with us, and we'll see how much better he gets as we go along here. um, so what could I have done differently? Some weird things happened this game. Some really weird things. One of them is that my capital, Jakarta, here is not a very good start. It was surrounded by just useless desert tiles, which are not great for growth. So my population was, I think, as you see, Keith's is like 41 in his capital. I don't know what he was doing to get it up that high, because my capital at the end of the game was like 28. So I'm doing something wrong here. I don't know. I should have moved more food to it, maybe. I don't know what I could have even done differently, because 41 is blowing my mind even right now as I record this. And Alan's capital also had like 30 something population, maybe even more than Keith, speak of the devil. And his total population was also impressive. Just Nanjing is like third city over here at 26 population. That's just what my capital has, and his third city's at 26. I mean, so the weird thing that happened is that given that desert in Jakarta over here, I was planning on building the Petra logically. I thought the Petra was going to get me out of this jam and I'd have more food in my capital. But Alan, amazingly, this city right here is adjacent to one desert tile, or itself is on a desert tile. So by the law of the game, you can build Petra if your city is adjacent or on a single desert tile. That, in the moment, blew my freaking mind, because I was building Petra, and out of nowhere comes Alan and builds Petra right under my nose. I think I was like 6 turns from Petra or something. And that really, in the long term, screwed me, because I thought, oh, this capital isn't going to be that bad after I build Petra, but it turned out being that bad. I really think the game would have, well, I don't know how much differently it would have gone, but I would have gotten a little bit more science per turn out of my game. I don't think I would have been as far behind Keith as I was, because I'm on ballistics here, and he was already he was at 90%, so he's 10 techs short of the entire tech tree. He's already deep in the information era, because he had advanced ballistics, which gave you nuclear missiles. I know that for a fact. I felt that firsthand, I'll tell you that much. The other thing I could have done differently from my point of view is I could have built the hanging gardens. That's a +6 food bonus. That also would have been better, but I guess I didn't think of that in the moment, or somebody else must have built it. I don't quite recall now, but that also would have been something to gun for at the early start of the game. From Tyler's point of view, if he was here the whole game, and he's Celts, so they favor a domination victory, or it seems to be easiest to get one with them, given their ancient era units of the unique warrior, I believe, or unique spearman. But what he could have done with his game is he could have gone over to Alan's capital by at some point anyway, because it's a straight beeline. Like, there's no rough terrain here. I don't think there's like a few hills and that's it. But he could have easily taken out his second city and then his capital, because I'm completely blocked off here by mountain. I mean, he could have come up. Thing is that, like, where their borders met eventually, like, they met at the mountain, so like you could get through there kind of easily, from my point of view. But he could have taken out Polynesia, could have taken out Ethiopia up here, quite honestly. There's all this land over here. And could have taken out Allen after that. Allen had some phenomenal cities. I think Tyler would have been in phenomenal shape if he just kept conquering west all the way over here. He could have taken out the AI, could have taken out over here. Then he had a choice of either taking on me or Keith. If that had happened, if this had happened as it went down, I don't know what the play would have been. Like, I don't know if Keith and I would have realized, you know what, we gotta stop Tyler here. He's gonna win the game here, one way or the other. Um, or I don't know, maybe if he attacked me and Keith wouldn't have done anything, and maybe if he attacked Keith, I wouldn't have done anything. Maybe I would have been so confident in my position of these mountains being here that this choke point would have been so easy to defend that maybe I wouldn't have been so worried about it. Then again, he would have had quite the navy. He could have conquered my two coastal cities up here with much more production than me. Maybe that would have been the play. We'd have to obviously play that version of the game, but this is obviously in the past. I'd have to think about it in real time the next time it comes up, and hopefully it does come up. This is a great game. Everybody feels like had a real shot to win this one. It's a bummer it ever had to end, but credit where it's due. Keith held out and won that diplomatic victory after the game became completely decided as a result of the war not moving. Um, I think that's about all I would like to cover right now. I'd like to thank Keith, Alan, Tyler, and myself. Kind of a weird thing to thank myself, but whatever. We all had a great time. I'm so grateful for this game. It was such a good time. I only wish more people were in there. I only wish more people's schedules were cleared up so that we could do this uh, more consistently. But nevertheless, wow, what a fun game! I I only wish we could do it more frequently. All right, thank you, everybody.